Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 106, and today we're going to be doing battle in the Gauntlet. And so, the disclaimer I give in all of our Gauntlet videos, if you're wanting an in-depth guide on all of the decks we'll be playing today, you just got to scroll a little bit back in the channel. I like to limit our discussions at the beginning of the videos here to just our best of three strategy, and then we'll touch on the decks, but not too much. And so we'll have individual videos for all of these decks a few days back in the timeline, but today we're not going to discuss them too in depth. And so we get to bring up the thing I know everyone loves to see in a YouTube video. That's a nice spreadsheet. And today we're going to be playing with Fizz Riven, Tryndamere, Feel the Rush, and then Twisted Fate Annie. And so this is kind of an interesting lineup in multiple fronts. I think I could probably just spend about an hour talking about this lineup, and I'll try to avoid that for you if you can. But I think there's a lot of interesting concepts that comes out of a lineup like this. The first thing is the concept of Twisted Fate Annie, right? This is the current most played deck in the format, and then that does put it in a space to where it's going to be a frequent target of bans or frequent target of build around strategies, right? We're looking to actually build around a different deck here today, but it's worth noting that if you are playing the most common deck in the format, people are going to be gunning for that. The other kind of worrisome potential concept there is how comfortable are you playing the mirror match? The Annie Twisted Fate mirror match is kind of a high variance style matchup. It's not as bad as some of the other ones in the past, but it does have a bit of luck involved when it comes to playing mirror matches. Not to say they aren't skillful, but that concept is there. But what I'm kind of fully expecting and looking to do here is, for the first part of that, can you really come out and just target Twisted Fate Annie? And if you take like a look at the matchup table here, there's not a ton of decks that are like really strong against Annie that you're going to really want to build a lineup around. Like Twisted Fate Nami is something that we see a lot in Masters level play. I don't expect to see a ton of it today. It's a really hard deck to manage. I don't even bother with it. And I don't suspect that we're going to see a ton of it. Vi Zoe Aphelios is a weaker matchup, not by a ton, but that's actually the deck we've designed our lineup around here today. And then as you scroll down, we may run into some amounts of Echo Zillion, but again, it's not a terrible matchup. The really bad ones are down here where it's, say, like the Sun Disc, which is just going to be a common ban for us if it turns up. And then decks that we don't really pay much mind to, like Nautilus, Maokai, and then the Trundle deck that we're bringing today. I don't expect to see a ton of it. And so this is a deck list to where if you think back to the time of the Sun Disc, right, when the Sun Disc was at the height of its popularity, the way it would look is up here at like rows 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, it was just having a ton of really shitty matchups. And then from the very tail end of all the matchups, they were all extremely good. That's from where the deck had such a huge market share. Everyone was really just gunning to beat it. I don't suspect that we're going to see much of that today. So I feel fairly confident in bringing Twisted Fate Annie as a deck that can't just be completely canceled out. Now, piece number 2 of bringing a deck like this is, what does the matchup table look like if we hide this, right? If we assume that just every opponent is going to ban Twisted Fate Annie, how does our table look with the remaining deck lists? And here is where I feel pretty okay, right? The deck I'm looking to come out and target is this Aphelios Zoe Vi. I think this is a deck we're going to see in full force today at some flavor of Aphelios, and I wanted all of our decks to be good against it. Even Twisted Fate Annie is fine against this if they do manage to leave it up. It's a slightly bad matchup, but not something terrible. And then the two popular decks above it, and Twisted Fate Nami and Heimerdinger Jace, both even to pretty reasonable matchups. And so I feel pretty decent across the board there. And then again, like we said with the just complete beat 'em up strategies, the Sun Disc matchup is horrible, but we have a ban available to the Sun Disc, and so if we have to ban the Sun Disc and then even run up against something like Azir Irelia, I guess you won't because of the Azir flip, but if you run into, say, Ari Bard, it's not something that is a completely unwinnable matchup. Now, the second kind of interesting thing with this is the kind of stacking that we see across the champions today. You see Annie through like 50 different archetypes. You see Twisted Fate across like 50 different archetypes, and you can't double that up when you're out here in the Gauntlet. And so if your opponent is looking to, say, play Bard, right? Ahri Bard is up here as the third most common deck, then they're not going to be able to play things like Jarvan Poppy Bard because their Bard has been accounted for. And so I think this kind of puts us in a space to where a lot of the top-end matchups here look bad, but given the way that the Gauntlet format works, I don't think we're going to run into a lot of these commonly, right? Because the deck number 1 and deck number 4 both contain Annie, and then where we just mentioned something, say, like Tokens and Sundisk having overlap across Azir and Hecarim having a lot of overlap. It's just, there's a really big kind of like cluster of champions that I don't think interact that well together. And so I think this does leave us in a pretty kind of premium space as to where it looks like a lot of our top-end matchups aren't very good, but they are all very serviceable, and we're pretty capable of just not banning the most common deck in the format, that Twisted Fate Annie. And so, with that being that, we can go ahead and get ourselves ready for battle. I'll talk about the deck list real quick. We are playing Fizz Riven. We have carried this to battle the past like 3 or 4 gauntlets. I'm still a pretty big fan of it. We do not play the Papercraft Dragon version. Oh, I'm sorry. We definitely play Papercraft Dragon. Everybody plays him, right? We don't play the Lantern. Whatever the 3-cost fairy is that makes your fairies cost 2 less, we don't carry that. I'm more into just being all in. And so I really like to push heavily for the Riven swords. I like to protect our things with friendship. I like the access to things like Wallop to give us a little bit of boost against some big potential blockers. I love the kind of just all-in on the sword variants here. Fairly straightforward version of Trundlemere. We are out here running things like the box. This is a fairly decent format for the box to be working in terms of lots of like Hecarims running around since the 310 patch came out. Lots of big summons coming out of something like an Aphelios Vi deck on their big KO turn. I'm just a reasonably big fan of both the box and then 1 damage AoEs like Withering Whale. And so otherwise, pretty standard coming out of Tryndamere. And then last but not least, we're playing Twisted Fate Annie. This one is the exact same list we played in our previous video. So if you've been keeping up daily, you should be pretty familiar with this. I am reasonably happy again with playing things like Make It Rain. Ebb works quite nicely here as a nice AoE kind of strategy. And then we are playing the big scary monsters here to where we have access to Annie plus Tibbers, the 3 Conservatories, and the 2 Riptide Rexes. And so that is the decks we'll be doing battle with today, but you all know what we have to do first. We can't just go into battle without paying the pay-to-win price, and we got some cards out here in this Trundlemere deck that can be turned premium. Today, I have set my eyes on Ithith Stairs. Not really surprised that we haven't seen him turned premium yet, but he wasn't really an Expedition All-Star, or at least the Expedition decks we like to play, and so not too surprising that he isn't premium, but we're about to fix that, turning premium, and then get ourselves right into battle. Okay, had to get some more coins, but here we go. Good job, Ithith Stairs. The price has been paid, and let's jump on in. So let's see, play, hit up the Gauntlet, find these favorited decks. Still don't know why they don't turn up at the top of the list, but it is what it is. All right, let's jump on into battle. Feeling good. Feeling good. Trundlemere, not really, not really something that we look to be bringing lots of, but I think it'll be okay here today. So, all right, interesting lineup. The first thing that like brings some immediate worry to me is like I'm not entirely sure how bad the Echo Zillion matchups are. Let's pull up the chart real quick and take a peek at it. And so, gotta unhide this. Where's Echo Zillion? It looks to be like a fairly serviceable matchup, but not great, especially if they ban out Trundlemere. But I think it's something we can realistically keep if we need to. I never got to ban this Gnar Mecha Yordles kind of thing. That just feels like super off meta and something that we'll be able to deal with. The one that does bring me some worry is Kindred. Kindred is pretty good against the go tall strategies as we're out here trying to bring Fizz Riven and some of the big scary monsters at them, but I think that's going to be like kind of serviceable. I'm going to leave this Callista Kindred running around. Like I feel like things like Tryndamere are going to be okay. I feel where we're ultimately going to struggle here today is with this Fizz Riven, but I think it should be okay. Cool, that's the one that gets banned out. And then I'm going to leave the Feel the Rush deck as our kind of backup. I'm a little bit worried about people leaving Annie Twisted Fate up. And so if we have to play a deck twice today, let's play twice with Annie Twisted Fate. Especially kind of considering I think the Feel the Rush deck is going to line up pretty well against Callista. And so if he's playing like go wide stuff here with... if he's playing go wide stuff here with the Mecha Yordles and we have the AoEs, and then if we have things like Tryndamere to deal with Callista, I think everything will be okay in those terms. So here, looking for our cheap stuff. We're looking for Annies and we're looking for Ravenbloom's Conservatories, and so I'm just going to give this a full mulligan and see if we can't find one of our 1-drops. Cool, we got Annie out here. I'm curious how much we're going to be running into the Mystic shots, given that he's bringing like a very P and Z heavy lineup. Mystic Shot, of course, a fantastic way to answer an Annie, and so I'm curious if that's what we're about to run into here. Right, but she's ready to get into battle. I assume that, oh, get a free block? Okay. A little bit better with the challenger coming off the board. Annie should be a little bit safer, and she didn't get Mystic Shot, so that's all in all pretty good. Gonna go ahead and drop the Make It Rain here. I want to be guaranteed to kill both of these 1 health units. If he gets into some kind of discard next turn for the Flame Chompers, I don't want to be missing these. Okay. Bringing out more 1 health units, but we're about to cycle around to where we can start playing Twisted Fates. We haven't picked him up yet, but the opportunity is going to be there. Current timelines. Oh, shit. Did not expect that one. Interesting. So yeah, like you gonna concurrent timelines of Daring Poro? that doesn't seem spectacular. I guess it does work well enough with these cycle units. All right, the Unscarred Reaver. Wow. I'm curious how bad these cards have to be to want to pick up the Unscarred Reaver. I guess it's like a reasonable block against Annie, but that doesn't seem super ideal to me. And here, I think we can safely just play Zap, right? The Annie attack into the Unscarred Reaver should still be safe. We do have access to Blade's Edge to take it down in the middle of combat should we need to. I think we'll be completely fine. It's getting into being such a good Make It Rain board. Okay. Oh shit! I completely messed that up. We should have played the Blade's Edge in the middle of combat. I was a little slow on how that interaction was about to hit us. That's my bad. I had the like exact opposite thing in my brain. It was like I had thought that it's like okay, we need to deal the 3 damage here, but I was like thinking of the kind of quick attack conundrum as to where you like quick attack into the Unscarred Reaver and then it hits you back, right? I that kind of just like slipped my brain as working that way with Annie. Oh my gosh, so many 1 health units today. This has just been a real treat for this deck. Even with our little whoopsies, it still feels pretty good. Risu. Oh, that's a pretty high-powered play. So he gets Risu and also gets the Usari. Kind of a challenging board for us to deal with. I think we just want to kind of proactively Blade's Edge the Stormcloud so that we can hit it with the Scorched Earth. We can also Ravenous Flock down the Unscarred Reaver if we want to. I think this is okay. Would have been a lot cooler if we were about to flip an Annie, but I ain't perfect. We're going to Ravenous Flock. We're going to Scorched Earth. Taking a reasonable 6-hit here. Surprised he didn't take the Usari hook onto Zap. But, sure thing. Let's go make some friends, Tibbers. Alright, none of those attacks look particularly good anymore, am I right? So let's just get the House Spider down, see if we can't stall this out a little bit. Hopefully we don't have to worry about too many more just big units like Risu coming down. I guess that's, kind of the purpose of the concurrent timelines deck here. But he's not playing Freylord stuff, which makes me feel a little bit better. And so I think we can probably safely just get our bad units in here. But I want to keep the Zap behind in case he's going to get the opportunity to just block the Usari. We probably just need a little bit of time here. I assume if we ever just get to, say, pop off Riptide Rex, the game will just be over. The Bitsy Spider, recently upgraded to now have impact on the flip side. Maybe you transforms will have a place one day. Interesting. Death's Hand and a Conservatory. Okay. Real close to getting the Tybalak. And then here, I don't think I'm worried about him flipping the Bitsy Lizard, right? We can go into next turn with a 3-bank. We can play the Death's Hand on something, deal the point of damage, and then throw down a Riptide Rex to just AoE his whole board. And so I don't think the Lizard flipping this turn is that big of a deal. Oh. Maybe he's just going to send it anyways. Come on, bud, you want to help? It's kitty time. Yeah, come on. Come on, bud. This is way more important than any game of Runeterra. Here you go, here he is. Check out this guy. He says, "What up, internet? How you doing?" Such a good kitty. All right, back to the action. Let's get this Riptide Rex going. And so I'm kind of like tempted to put a ping onto Gnar, but that seems just a little bit sketchy. Let's just get the guaranteed unit removed from the board. And then it's like, even if Riptide Rex doesn't kill Gnar, which he probably should, right? We're sending a ton of cannon barrages down. He should just have to like block with him at some point. And that should be enough to take him down. Looks like we got the kill. Oh. Got a kitty stomping on my cords. Life gets hard. More Gnar. Okay. So, I suspect he has to just block here a lot. I guess he's not like super close to dying, but I would expect him to bring it forth frequently. Okay. Got some big transforms, but we aren't really at risk of dying. And we have a ton of big stuff we can start to drop. And so if we really feel the need, we can Whispered Words next turn. But I'm a little more inclined to just drop Tybalak and then try and get the big... get the big Riptide Rex hit in next turn. Okay, he's down to 1 card. So it's going to be... He's going to have to like draw a Gnar, or he's going to have to draw a Wallop to shut this kind of play down. Maybe we'll just end up drawing another Blade's Edge or something. It's like if we get to preemptively drop the Riptide Rex, it's huge. Okay, perfect. Bring a little boom onto Gnar, and then we'll bring another little boom with the Riptide Rex. Laser Beam. Get your emote game on point. All right, so good deal, good deal. We did make that misplay with Annie, but otherwise it was pretty straightforward and easy. So now we get 2 shots with the Tryndamere deck against this. I feel pretty decent now that we know what he's doing with the Gnar deck and just playing like an absolute fuck ton of 1 health units. I feel pretty decent with Tryndamere here between our just massive collection of 1 damage AoEs with the ravines and avalanches and just everything that one could want. But here we're going to mulligan and look for some ramp for some early game interactivity. And that's the kind of shit we're talking about, right? This should go pretty decently. So if he has like the turn 1 timelines here, then we're probably going to have to worry about some stuff. But without a concurrent timelines, I'm going to feel pretty good in this matchup. And then we do have the Voices of the Old Ones, but we didn't pick up an expensive play to get the boost. So we'll just go ahead and skip over that for the moment. The Vile Feast here, it's enough for a shutdown, though. I'm going to pop the Boom Baboon. Even need to? We're only going to... Like, we could Withering Wail out of this and just be down 1 mana, or down 1 health point. I think that's fine. Give us a shot to just, like, bank all of this mana, play the Faces of the Old Ones now, and then go into next turn with the plan to Withering Wail out his board. Picks up the timelines now. Okay. So we can, like, Vile Feast if we want to this turn. I just don't think it's necessary. Right? We can Vile Feast his hooker. his Flame Chompers. So, again, I just don't think we need to. All right, Rumble makes an appearance. Not that big of a deal right now. We can take a hit from Rumble and not be too upset about it. But I think I do want to just go ahead and put a Vile Feast token in front of him. And so I'm going to be pretty obvious in what we're doing here. I'm going to put a Drain. Oh, he's just going to hook our Vile Feast, though, right? No, there's no reason to do that. Okay. Let's just get ourselves into combat. We'll have to take a hit from Rumble. But the Withering Wail will break his Spell Shield, and then we'll have a Vengeance lined up for a future turn. It's also kind of nice just leaving all of these Flame Chompers on the board, because they just don't do anything, right? I'm not worried about anything he's doing with the Flame Chompers, but they are taking up, valuable real estate on this guy's board here. Cool. Alright, I'm ready with my vengeance. It's like, do we ever even really want to play at the stairs? Like, we're getting to the point to where I don't want to blow up the ramp unit that much, but it's not that big of a deal to do so. And again, I'm like pretty happy with him having all of these Flame Chompers on the board. But I mean, I do have to imagine that if we just drop the Itzit stairs and he's just blocking with the Flame Chompers, we're not going to get very far. Okay, that makes it a little easier. Just keep on passing, I guess. You got this real scary 2-attack unit on the board. I'm getting pretty worried over here. Let's be real. This should just be a Tryndamere, right? You have to stop and think. It's like, does he have a way to get a rally? No. My blade grows restless. Nah, man. Okay, we might need to watch ourselves a little bit, just in the event that we're going to get burned out. I think we're okay, though. We can have potential 4 heal, or 2 heal this turn if we really need to. Alright, Tryndamere, let's get to battle. Making the big decision. What is the best unit to get blown up by it? Okay. Sure. He's down to 2 cards. We have right around 1,000,000. We have this Feel the Rush that we just don't even need to play. I think everything's going to be just fine. Got the combo again, though. What you got? Risu along with the Wave Rider. That's actually like a potentially scary collection of units, but I think we're okay. Wait till he gets into combat. We'll Three Sisters down the Wave Rider, then we have ample ways to deal with the Storm Cloud. Okay, not particularly interested in playing any more spells this turn, so I think we're okay here. Then we could just, like, is Feel the Rush the way to go about this, just to end it next turn? Probably is. So I'm just going to play the Catalyst now, pick up a little bit of heal, and then next turn we'll still have the 12 mana to Feel the Rush. The Chief Nanotech transforms. I get it. I see what's happening here now. It took me a while to see the concurrent timelines plus the Chief Nanotech kind of thing, but I see what you're doing. All right. GG. Victory for Bust.
They never stood a chance.
Never stood a chance. You're right. Cool. Victory number 1 is ours. On to the next battle. Okay, so Galio Bard, Zed Hecarim, and then what I believe to probably be the Fearsome's deck. And so, in terms of these matchups, like, I think Galio Bard and Zed Hecarim we kind of need to check out. I feel good against the Viego Callista if we get to play Tryndamere, or if we get to play Annie Twisted Fate. The Riven deck isn't that spectacular, I don't think, there. But if we take a look at these other matchups, I'm not sure if they even show up on the table. They're kind of falling off a bit. The Bard decks, kind of a toss-up. Is the Zed on here? Zed Hecarim. It's kind of poor for Tryndamere, but then strong for our other ones. Okay. And so, like, it just feels like the Zed Hecarim was the one that's just kind of like most likely to come in and blow us out. I feel fairly safe against Galio Bard. All right, let's just take the ephemerals out of the equation. They ban our Tryndamere, okay. And then, like, I kind of feel like he's probably set up to at least try and deal with our Annie Twisted Fate. But again, I feel kind of worried about Riven. I don't think the Riven into Bard decks are that great, but give it a shot. They do at least have, like, smaller amounts of interactivity. So let's see what we can do. All right, I'm just going to go for a big Riven Sword draw here. I'm not feeling like the real need to hang onto these Yordle Squires. I know it can be weird to pick up those 1-drops and then just immediately cycle them away, but it kind of is what it is. A lot of times I think we just really need to push for the combo as fast as we can, and they don't help us build towards that. They said, Bust, don't let me go, though. I want to be here. I want to party. So you got it, Yordle Squire. We'll party. All right, picking up a few pieces of the puzzle. I think we can just drop the Blade Squire here. This is a spot to where we can save the Rune Weaver for a turn to where it's a little bit stronger instead of just trading with his smaller units. Okay. Right, we have like plenty to do with our mana this game since we drew this rando 3 Face Sprout. And so banking a mana for a turn or two is not that bad, especially if we say like spend it this turn looking for the lantern, the Gleaming Lantern that makes your other fairies cheap. We can kind of like pop off a surprise good fairies turn. And then no attack. Interesting. Okay. Alright, this should be a fairly safe time for Fizz. I do want to still see if we can't pop off a big collection of fairies here. Not entirely sure what this guy's doing, but the Gleaming Lantern does feel good. Let's go ahead and add him to the board. And then we can Face Sprout again if we want to and look for a 2-cost fairy. Is he really targeting our Fizz here? How sweet is this going to be? Okay, and so the Fated Librarian should be the fairly safe choice here. God, I just got so murdered with that play, dude. We are cheating so hard with mana. Oh, that's brutal. Get the free mana off of the Lantern. We get the 1 mana for 5 mana trade off of our spell. Enjoy, my dude. Enjoy. I bring a little cupcake to that one.
Need repairs?
Okay.
Don't think I know that one.
Who wants to place a wager on whether or not we hit Papercraft Dragon with this last Face Sprout? Would anyone like to place a wager? Ah, we missed. You lost. You lost. That's okay. This is a perfectly fine place for picks. Picks can still come in and boost the Fizz. We'll get a lot going next turn. There's a weapon hilt. We could go for the sword next turn, but it's going to be unnecessary. Okay, GG. Whew. What a brutal Fizz counterspell. Love seeing that. We did it, Fizz. That's right. That's right. Okay, so now he's got to beat Annie Twisted Fate twice. It's weird not seeing that, like, the Annie Twisted Fate, or the various Bard decks pop up against this. Like, I guess the Ari Bard, it's like, Ari Bard is so different than this one, though. What was the other one? I guess the better comparison would be the Jarvan Poppy Bard, but it's just way more common than the Galio version. All right, he brings it again. I want to hang on to one Make It Rain here. They do have a lot of early plays where this plays well, and I'm fairly tempted to hang on to Death's Hand as well, just as a means to where if they play a turn 2 Durandi Sculptor, that's one of the units I do want to come in and take down. Since it's passing out the health, that really makes a lot of our other plays weaker. But I would, again, prefer to find some amount of Annie or Ravenbloom Conservatories. We didn't, but I think trying to attack the turn 2 Durandi Sculptor is fairly important here. Got Bird. This bank game feels okay. Thinking about it real hard. Play that Fleet Feather Tracker, please. I am primed and ready for it. Well, if he drops the tracker, I guess there is a chance that he has a Ranger's Resolve. Surprised Ranger's Resolve hasn't really been picking up these days. Everybody's playing Twisted Fate and Make It Rains, and so just a matter of time before it starts to show back up. Alright, slightly awkward, but not that big of a deal if he ends up passing. Here's the Durandi Sculptor we were worried about. Gotta get this out of here. ASAP. Stat. Super fast. Quickly as possible. Get this out of here. If he sharp sights, we'll play the other Death's Hand. Seems a little bit better to Death's Hand than use the Disintegrate. You can save the Disintegrate for something a little bit bigger. Beats Relish? Like Pickle Relish? The fuck are you talking about, Durandi Sculptor? Probably put Pickle Relish in your tuna salad. You fucking nasty. This is the hard-hitting commentary people show up here for. I hope this is your first video. And you're saying, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Came here to watch him play Legends of Runeterra poorly. He's out here talking about tuna salad. You're welcome. Alright, what up, Steve? Oh, doubled up on Bard. I think we could go ahead and just go for the takedown here. So let's put a Make It Rain on the stack. This will clear out his board, and we're going to use the Disintegrate. Let's buy us a ton of time, keep his chime count down. It's a very stat-heavy unit in Bard. Just get it over with. Get him out of here. Alright, what do we got? Finally picking up a Conservatory. Looks good. Leaning towards just playing Zap this turn. It sucks to miss out on the point of spell mana, but it's okay.
My shield is yours.
Look at this, it's a fully statted Brightsteel Protector. You guys remember when he was just naturally a 3-2? He's bringing in Fleet Feather Tracker. Okay, it's like I want to save the Twisted Fate for the draw. Kind of leaning towards just dropping Ebbs here. We should get a full 3 Ebbs out of this one, and really just kind of turbocharge this Conservatory. And then if we need to, we still have the mana for like a Death's Hand or something. The full Ebb is going to cost 6 mana, and so we could spend another 4, and then we'll still have 3 left over. There's the Ranger's Resolve. Okay. Still manageable.
My steel is yours.
Really?
We live here.
Let's see. I mean, the follow-up flow, or ebb and flow, whatever the last one is called, is still strong enough to take down the Fleet Feather Tracker. I think this is completely fine. Blue card, please.
Never lost a fair game or played one.
Plenty of mana to get all this going. Start charging up the Conservatory. It all feels good. Y'all been watching the board for the rat? I haven't been paying attention. the greatest amount of controversy in recent times. The rat crawling across the board. Curious what this guy's holding on to. It's like he's really gone spell heavy or something in this one. Cosmic Binding, okay. Sure. Getting there. Tybalak will be ready on the next turn. I think I just want to still like throw down the Conservatory, throw down the House Spider, and then maybe play a Blade's Edge this turn. We don't really need to, but I don't really want to overbank at this point. We can like pop off a bunch of mana for the next few turns, so losing out on the mana doesn't feel that great. Although the Fleet Feather Tracker isn't really a prime target. It's a big Broadwing. I'll give you that. It's like, are we realistic? Oh wow, he's just passing with so much mana. Are we just gonna get hit with Galio this turn? Like doesn't even feel like that big of a deal. I mean, it sucks that we don't have a. It sucks that we don't have a like way to take down Galio. We don't have any of the like Scorched Earth kind of cards or Disintegrate kind of cards, but still like feels so odd here that he's passing with so much mana. I mean, if he has another Chime Stun or something, more power to you, I guess. Okay. I'm looking to just get this Taiba lock on board as fast as possible next turn. How much is this? 2. We can really like shrink up the Broadwing for 3. So then he's only going to hit for 4 damage. Okay. I did the mathematics. That's pretty good. Our unit doesn't die. Shield of Durandi. Okay. Reasonable enough. What's this bard down here for now? Get your shit together, Riot. What's wrong with you and your dumb game? The Brightsteel Protector was just out here hanging out for the longest time in the middle of the board. Now we just have this rando bard on top of something? That's not even a bard. It's a Brightsteel... What? Small indie company, I guess. Okay, we're going to try and get a surprise Make It Rain in here. If we hit with the Make It Rain on one of these formidables, good chance that our unit survives. We missed, but it's not the end of the world. It's got a lot of work to do to climb back into this one. Okay. Look at that, still got Bard. The Broadwing flashed for a moment and then Bard turned up. Here he is, just hanging out on the bench now. Good job, Riot. Good job. Rookies. Alright, do we drop an Eye of Nagakaboros in front of this? I think we might as well. Just no reason for us to take all of this damage. We'll wait on the Ravenous Flock. I don't care about the Tentacle dying. I'm trying pop off with Annie here.
Come out, wherever you are.
But this game should be pretty dunsies. Pretty dunsies, I tell you. Make it rain for the full clear. We have tons of dudes to put on the board next turn. I like it. Drop that cupcake. This Bard can't block. What are you doing? What are you doing out here, Bard? Get the fuck out of here. Go away. Go away. Look at that. You can still click on it like it's actually there. You can't play your opponent's cards. Rookies. Alright, I assume that'll do it. Rip him. GG.
Let's go make some more friends.
Yeah, Tibbers, let's make some more friends. Alright, next battle. So what do we got here? Oh, the 6 champion special? What the fuck? Alright, so we got Bard Viego. We got whatever, some kind of landmarks deck between Zerath Ziggs, and then we got the 6 champion special out here to the right. I'm really curious what we're running into with the 6 champions. If it can you still play that that thing that makes the 30-30? I want to find out. So I'm going to leave the 6 champion deck up. The thing that's probably scaring me the most is like Bard Viego. I don't really get what they're supposed to be doing. We do have like some amount of answers to landmarks with our Scorched Earth kind of stuff out of the Twisted Fate Annie deck, but let's just ban out the Shadow Isles. It seems like such an odd deck to me. And, all right, so I'm gonna get things started with Fizz Riven again. Like I'm not really sure what we're up against here, but I think if we need a deck to get a win, then we'll kind of bank on Tryndamere. All right, 6 champions coming at us. They don't even all have skins, dude. What are you doing? Do we want to keep the full combo here? I'm usually not a huge fan of hanging on to both of these, just because it's so slow. It takes a lot of work. You give up a lot of board, but let's not do it. Like this Fizz, that's even arguable. We should be throwing it away here. Like I'm not real sure what this guy's trying to do with all the champions, but if he like spikes a Teemo or if he has a Mystic Shot, then this Fizz is going to take a lot of work in the early game that I'm not quite ready to deal with. Alright, Tactical Dumplings. What do you bring in with all these champions?
Yordles and their portals.
Okay, so we should get a pretty free attack here with the Assistant Librarian. He either has to block or let us draw a card. No reason to get any of this other stuff involved. I guess we could have led with Face Sprout, but doesn't feel entirely necessary. He's got to be playing like the what is it? I can't remember what it's called. If you play like 15 different cards, you get to put the 30-30 on board. We have usage out of the Lantern here. I think we probably just want to switch over to Rainbow Fish. Rainbow Fish onto the Librarian is kind of nice. You don't have too many ways to protect a Feyfolk here. Kind of interested in just dropping Fizz here as well. Just blocking the Perfectionist with Fizz, giving up on the kind of Fizz combo and pivoting to the Librarian. I think I like it. Or we could, of course, just take 6. Maybe it's okay just to take for this round. And then we can try and punch in the elusives next turn. Like, we're not entirely at lethal next turn, but I mean, we can say, like, attack with both of our dudes. See if he blocks anything with Esmuth, and then pop off with Elixir of Wrath plus Ruined Reckoner. And I mean, we do have this Might ready to give Overwhelm to a unit, so maybe this turns out okay. Is it fun? Check mark. Is it interactive? Check mark. We got it all. We want to attempt lethal with Fizz, right? We can Might the Assistant Librarian. That's going to take her up to 6, 9, 10 attack and get up to the extra 8. Okay. Oh, we're short by 1? Oh, I was looking at the -8 and not the health total. Oops. Alright. We're still pretty close. Nah, dude. I don't appreciate things like that. Bust says, no thank you. Uh-oh. Fuck! God damn it. Fucking Fizz. Come on, dude. F. I have like the actual worst luck with the flashbang traps. Like if some dude at Riot wants to go through all of the match history, I far and away have the worst luck with flashbang traps out of anyone on the planet. Okay, he's doing a time trick. Should be pretty close to lethal next turn.
Don't think I know that one.
Get a wallop. We could just potentially try and stun his whole team. But this is probably safer, let's be real. We could just add a Fizz, burst out this fairy trap, whatever it's called, and then we'll be good for probable lethal. Take the Faithful just in case something goes completely south here, but between drawing another Fizz for a Playful Trickster, having this active Fizz, the two elusives he has to deal with, pretty sure we're just going to be fine. GG. Bonkers. Worst luck in A. Maybe worldwide. That's the only reason I'm not rank 1, right? If luck wasn't a thing, I'd be... oh, God, I messed up the Phil Hellmuth quote. It's, if luck wasn't involved, I would win every time. That's what it is. I hope he's doing well. I forget how it came up, but I was actually talking about Phil Hellmuth to my wife the other day. She has very limited knowledge of anything gaming. But there was that, kind of like big streak when online poker was legal and we had the big boom here in the States. I assume it was pretty huge in Europe as well. But Phil Hellmuth was a fixture amongst all of the event coverage at the time. And she knew who he was. She was like, wasn't he the one that was like super salty all the time? And it's like, yeah. But I'm curious, like, how much of that is like the thing that I was kind of like curious about with him is here, like, we probably just need to find some ramp. Kind of tempted to hang on to like one of these AoEs, but it doesn't seem like the AoEs were even that good against what this guy was doing. He had a lot of higher health units. Let's just full mulligan. We'll pick up like AoEs like via mulliganing. Need to find the ramp. But like, I'm not trying to take away from any of his successes. Phil Hellmuth has like an absolutely ridiculous run of high quality tournament finishes. I think he won something like, he might have won like 10 or 12 World Series of Poker bracelets. But then like the poker boom hit and everyone just got like super better at the game. And you saw kind of like a similar thing with Magic in terms of like when the game was first released, everyone was pretty bad. No one would say that whatever dude won like the 1998 Pro Tour was like the best thing happening. But those guys were really good. Like the only people that really like had those kind of ridiculous finishes in Magic would have been like John Finkel and Kai Budd, and they did turn out to just be absolutely ridiculous at the game. But like comparing someone in the year 2000 playing Magic, comparing someone in the year 2010 playing Magic is just like two completely different worlds. And I think you run into kind of a similar thing with poker in that you know, Phil Hellmuth was really at the top of the game there in like the early 90s, and then in the mid 2000s with the boom and everyone jumping in and getting super, super strong, he was just not the best in the world anymore. And that has to be kind of like a bitter pill to swallow in terms of being at like the peak of the game and then just being like not exactly there. So it would be kind of like the equivalent now of being like rank 1 best in the world, and then you know, now you're kind of like dumpster masters or dumpster legend, however you want to consider it. And it has to just like do a real number to the ego. And I'm curious if that's what happened to him or not. But anywho, I'm getting kind of backtracked here with my Phil Hellmuthian discussion. We'll let this slide. We need to find a way to get this Ziggs off of the board. And we're gonna have to go about it with like blighted ravines and avalanches and withering whales and stuff. And so it's gonna take a bit of work. Surprised to see him drop bomber twins here. But we should be getting another free hit with the Kindly Tavern Keeper. I assume he just never blocks with Ziggs. And then if he's not careful, we are just going to boom him with Atrocity. And so he does have to actually watch out for something here. So the Avalanche is good. It's going to leave us Ziggs with 1 health. And then we can look to... Fuck. I was going to say next turn we can look to let Ziggs live, but then pop him in the middle of combat so he doesn't get to reattach the Rainbow Fish to something else. Not working entirely as planned here with the stress defense coming down, but it does buy us a lot of time. About to start dropping Tryndameres and things feel a little bit better. Oh shit. How much is this? Coming at us for 9? 10 in total? Okay.
One for you and one for you.
So the thing we're going to have to kind of watch ourselves with here is we would, of course, like to be able to feel the rush next turn, right? We can't feel the rush this next turn because we only have 11 mana, but on the follow-up turn, if we want to play Feel the Rush, we need to have a 3 bank. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Oh, 3 Sisters was a huge draw. Okay. So this will flip as Ziggs if we drop Tryndamere. Are we okay with that? I think it's okay. He should have a real trouble with us hitting this attack and then throwing him with Atrocity next turn. I think we're safe. Attack. Attack. We do have to worry about things like Quicksand, things like Wallop, kind of throwing a wrench in our plans, but I ultimately feel much safer now that we can just like Flash Freeze or Entomb the Ziggs and not worry about damage a ton. Interesting. Is he just going to have another Ziggs to follow up with or something? It's a real surprise block coming in. Wow. Okay. It's like, how do you plan to win the game at this point? He has to just be dropping another Ziggs, right? But we can pretty safely get by without playing any more units for a while, so I'm not super worried about the Ziggs booms coming in and hitting us. Okay. Let's just play it a touch slow. We'll put... Oh, well, he's tapped out now. Okay. I was like, I don't want this to go wrong if he has like another Scrying Sands, and so I was going to wait on Arsenal to attack, block with Tryndamere, and then throw Tryndamere in the middle of combat so he doesn't get the lifesteal, but Didn't turn out to matter. That would have just died there either way, though. He had a his arsenal had overwhelm. All right, though. We made our way to the final battle. We dispatched the 6 champion deck. Made it into the final battle. I'm very proud of us. Let's see if we can do it. Feels kind of dirty not playing any burn decks, though. I feel like we... Does this count as a burn deck when we play Atrocity out of Trundlemere? Oh, it's the same guy. Okay. So I think we'll just follow up with the same thing. We'll ban out the Viego Bard. We'll do battle against either the Ziggs or the 6 champion deck. We can lead on... Oh, he bans Trundlemere now. We can lead on with Fizz Riven. Okay, round 1, Landmarks deck. So what do we got here? I'm not a huge fan of hanging on to these Conchologists. I want to find more Reforges. Just stuff to do in the early game that builds up to our big combos. Okay. What did we hit? 2 attack? I'm curious what happens next turn if like we play Riven and he plays Fizz. I don't think we ever give the +2 attack just to punch in the damage, but you know, it's a thought.
When will I find peace?
Guess we aren't attacking this turn. All the combo pieces. Good stuff, good stuff. Xerath is a little awkward, though.
Got the book.
So we can add this first guy. He's going to survive. If he wants to hook him into combat, sure, absolutely. And then I'm going to go ahead and play Blade Squire. This is going to die to the Xerath immediately, but it does give us the full collection of Riven items for the turn, so we can flip Riven next turn if we want to. So we're probably going to want to. I'm looking at like flipping Riven, putting all of the items on Riven, but then putting the Riven sword onto Assistant Librarian. I think that's going to get us in the good spot here. 4 mana will leave us with 3, so we can have an extra fragment. Our extra fragment is Overwhelm. Not that exciting, but we can still play Weapon Hilts out of this. So let's go for it. +2 attack. You go under Riven. Quick attack. You go under Riven. Overwhelm. You go under Riven. Riven sword. You do not go under Riven.
I am reforged.
Alright, ready for battle. What you got for us? And then if we need to, we haven't put the double boost onto Riven yet, right? She gets +2 or double bonus attack for the first bonus you put on her, so we can still weapon hilt Riven to be up to +4 attack this turn. So we lose our Librarian. It just shuts down everything. Okay. Sad day. A little worrisome. I think we need to play a unit now. Just if he plays like... We don't have to add any more units to the board now. So if he plays like a Rockhopper, or if he plays a Unraveled Earth, we don't have to add dudes that are going to then immediately activate the Xerath. Mm-hmm. Really? That seems aggressive. Like, what could be his angle here? Quicksand? Quicksand would be the worst at -4. I guess he could try to, like, stun Riven out of combat. Okay. I'm in. Let's see what happens. Quicksand? Hourglass. Okay. So at least Dum Dum is off the board now, so we can kind of freely play some units. We should play Conchologist. Let's see if that pulls up anything interesting. Yordle Portal is slightly interesting, and that lets us get an additional dude on the board. I don't think we'll be playing Death's Hand here. Okay. It's predicting again. Interesting. Kind of leaning towards the Rainbow Fish, but like this just feels like the space where we need to go wide. What's going to happen next turn? Like, what's his name comes back. He's going to kill the Conchologist. Okay, let's just get a bit of width here.
Just follow the yellow light.
So now we can play more Riven Swords if we want to. Not super planning on it. But the thing we're going to have to watch for now is, like, what is our strongest unit? Since he can potentially, like, blow something up for this Hexplosive Minefield. I think I'm leaning towards just doing this to where we say Papercraft Dragon, our smallest Librarian. And then we're going to look to, like, +2 attack Riven. And then maybe, like, quick attack or something the Librarian. So we just +2 attack Riven. I don't want to spend the Overwhelm. I want to save the Overwhelm for, like, when we have a Minotaur Reckoner or getting 2 attacks in the same turn or something. It just doesn't feel ultra safe right now. Cool. I think we're good. He has been getting a lot of predicts in here. It's a little scary, but I think we're okay. Ooh, the Arsenal. He didn't hit Spell Shield, so we're good. We have the Wallop to kind of stop those shenanigans. So that leaves us with 6 mana, 4 of which needs to go to Ruined Reckoner. So we can say, like, all we can do is put Overwhelm down on Assistant Librarian. I think that's okay. He's down to 1 card here.
Noxus will pay for what they did to us.
Let's get this Dum Dum out of the way. Now we have the Overwhelm. Where you at? Onto the thing. Free attack. Onto the thing. And let's see if that's enough. Feeling decent. Feeling good. Stress defense. Okay. Okay. Does he block and throw away his Zerath? That'd be interesting.
Don't think I know that one.
Oh, Wallop is a choice draw. We have to worry about the Arsenal next turn, but the Wallop lets us get around him. The fresh Overwhelm. Cool.
Page 87.
Alright, that's just for cycle. I think we're good. Like, a stun would be awkward if he hits Unleashed Earth, so he could burst speed, give something +4/+2, and then blow up our Assistant Librarian, but I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that. He hasn't popped it off yet. Did we do it? Are we there, fam? Pulling down those victories.
Watch it, bozo. It's your funeral.
Alright, game says neg 14 coming at you. GG. So, alright, we did it. And I think this was kind of interesting in terms of one of the concepts I've been kind of like brewing around in my brain in terms of lineup creation is... oh, shit. Yeah, we still got to play more games? Well, I'll go ahead and talk about it anyways here for a little bit. We can circle back to it at the end. But it's what you would call like a long tail in statistics or analytics or whatnot, as to where you have, you know, this like clumping of meta decks all at the very front of the meta, like all of our on-meta top choice decks, but then you just have this like really long tail of all of the kind of off-meta decks. And with Runeterra, the thing that always gets, you know, kind of weirdish to me is that the meta decks never really rise up. Oh fuck, double Riptide Rex, this is bad. They never rise up in popularity like you would see in Magic. In Magic, you'll frequently see decks that like occupy 15, 20, 25% of the meta, and then you just absolutely never see that in Runeterra. And so I'm kind of like wandering around my brain piece with this concept of playing decks that have a good set of matchups against a long tail. And that's what we kind of see against, like, if we take a peek at like the Fizz Riven set of cards here, where like everything down at the bottom just appears to be very green. Fizz is very good against you know, kind of the long tail of the matchups, to where something like Tryndamere is not. You see, Trundle has a lot of bad matchups. I'll come back and circle to that concept here in a little bit, but I think it's something kind of interesting to consider. All right. Well, we're primed and ready to take down both of his champions here. This is a pretty decent double Ravenous Flock, and then we can also refill with the Whispered Words. I think this is okay. The question is, do we want to play Scorched Earth as opposed to... oh, cool. He's losing his Ziggs as well. Do we want to play Scorched Earth as opposed to a Ravenous Flock, since he is playing Landmarks? I think we probably want to hang on to Scorched Earth just in terms of Riptide Rex. Or not Riptide Rex, but in terms of the arsenal. There we go. It took a minute, but we got there. And then there is a reason to say that we shouldn't be targeting his champions here and just banking the mana and going into next turn. Because he's probably not going to like really do anything with those, right? And then we get the chance to say draw Annie. But I think this is still okay.
Are you ready? Let's take it for a spin.
Frozen Thrall. Non-zero chance this thing activates. Good thing we got the Scorched Earth, am I right?
We're rolling.
Yeah, we need to find some of our big scary monster cards. So we're just doing some digging now. This is completely fine to just shut down his board for the turn. Rainbow Fish is annoying, but whatever. I think we're still okay. How far away are we from these Riptide Rexes, am I right? We can start playing them next turn. Okay. So I wanna get the conservatory down. I do want to interesting, the apothecary coming in with the rainbow fishes running around. I do want to get some damage onto his rainbow fished unit. And so I'm gonna look to do that with the Blade's Edge. Or the Death's Hand, just because it's a little bit more expensive. And then, yeah, we'll still have the Blade's Edge for a future turn. I think this is okay. Not going to play the Eye of Nagakaboros this turn, though. We already have enough stuff to do in our hand. Commit, do it. Okay, then no more combats. I like his board being full. I like his Rainbow Fish unit having damage on it. I think this is great. Where are you at? Death's Hand. Try and take this bro down. Now we're ready with Riptide Rex. The following turn, we can Blade's Edge plus Riptide Rex. This is going to take us to 6. Okay. I don't think he can lethal us without a Ziggs. And his Ziggs, like, we killed one and he shuffled one in. It should be pretty tough for him to come across. Alright, my squad is ready. Battles are prepared. Units moving forward. I think it's all going to be good. Jarvan? Where the fuck did this come from? Oh, the Apothecary created him. That's actually horrible, having these Riptide Rexes on the board and dude dropping Jarvan. Can you kill him with this thing? Maybe we have to drop a Tybalak now. Fucking fine, dude. Well, I'll do it next turn. How's that sound? It's kind of lame. Yeah, lame, dude. You heard it. You heard it here first. Don't appreciate anything you're doing. Okay, but same kind of deal as before. I feel reasonably safe against this Jarvan. We have the Scorched Earth in hand. We're still going to try and assemble our sweet plays with the burn spells and stuff, but why can't we target him? Oh, he doesn't have any damage on him anymore? Did we fucking lose this? Ah, no way. No way. Hang on. I didn't realize he didn't have a damage on him anymore. Fuck. All right. I drew a Blade's Edge like a pro. Like a pro. Game says lethal. Game blouses. Let's get them pancakes ready. That's weird we played him twice in a row, though, since we were in the final battle. Like, when you're in the final battle and lose, you're done. And so he must have been on that pre-final battle stage. And we still got paired against him twice. Interesting, I didn't know the game would do that. But nonetheless, a little sloppy as usual, but good enough at the end of the day. Our prime glory has been achieved, and now I do kind of want to circle back to that concept of the long tail, right? And that's like one of the things that's always kind of like weirded me out with Runeterra is across all of the other games, your meta kind of like converges in, right? You really, if you hear people complaining about a rock paper scissors meta, that's basically what they mean, is to you have the best deck in the format, then after that you're going to have a deck that preys on the best deck in the format, and then after that you're going to have a deck that preys on the deck that preys on the best deck in the format. And you kind of get into this cycle of things to where the best decks in the format sit at something like 15, 20, 25% of the meta, and then you have your kind of off-meta decks that are sitting down between like 5 and 10%, and that brings you up to having like 6 or 8 actually relevant decks. But with Runeterra, it's so strange, and I end up talking about this every week when we play Gauntlet, and that the current like top percentage played deck in the format, I don't know what it is. Well, I know it's the Twisted Fate deck, Anti-Twisted Fate. We'll take a peek at Balco's site real quick. But yeah, so you have a 7% play rate with Anti-Twisted Fate. The next most popular one is Azir Irelia at 6%. And so if you just want to do some quick napkin math, it takes like 15 decks at 6% to get up to the 100% of the decks like fulfilling the meta. And so it leaves you in these kind of like weird spaces as to where you can't really like target Twisted Fate Annie, right? Because there's just the chances of you playing it aren't that great. And then even if you want to say like, okay, well, we're playing a tournament this week, it's going to be people playing more refined strategies. Anti-Twisted Fate's going to have like a 15% play rate. And then across like your 3 decks, she might shoot up to say like a 25% play rate or something. But that's still like really hard to target, right? If we're say playing seasonals, we have to play 9 rounds. We're like building up a lineup that hard targets a deck that's going to show up in 25 to 33% of the lineups. then we're only going to play that in like 3 of our matches. And so if in a tournament to where you need to go 8-1 to proceed to the next level, you can't build your lineup set up to just be good against the deck you're going to play in 3 of your matches. You win those 3, you coin flip the other matches on your day, you finish the day 6-3, you weren't successful enough. And so it brings me back to this kind of concept of a long tail as to where, hang on, we got a tail in the screen. Look at that. We got a kitty turning up when we got the long tails. This is the other one. She loves to be here on the internet. I think we got both of them in the video here today. But right, so when we're, say, looking at a deck like Fizz Riven, it just has this, like, good collection of matchups against the bottom end of the format. And so if we're, like, reasonably well-tailored to deal with these, say, top 5 decks, you know, maybe we're just like 50-50 or slightly above positive win rates against the top-end decks, and then just absolutely annihilate everything at the bottom end. Like, I think that brings up the concept of like a really interesting style deck that you can be bringing to this. And then kind of the flip side is we look at a deck here like Tryndamere in the column I've tried to highlight, which is, you know, extremely good against the top deck of the meta. It's kind of turdy against the, you know, the top points, but then it has some like really bad matchups down at the bottom side. And so, you know, if you're, say, trying to build your lineup to, say, target Annie Twisted Fate, Trundle looks like an extremely good deck to be bringing forth since it's so good against the deck you're going to be seeing most often, but you're not going to be seeing that deck frequently enough for this to be like a real contender. And so it's like, I know we brought Trundle here today, but it doesn't feel like a deck that sports a lot of matchups to where we're really happy with it. And I think that that's like when you see something over here like Twisted Fate Annie, to where most of the matchups, none of them are spectacular, but most of them are kind of fine. That's what we would see out of a lot of decks like Scouts. Like, Scouts never, like, had 75-25 matchups against a lot of decks. It would get annihilated by things like Yuumi Pantheon, but for the rest of the matchups, they were all kind of, like, fairly close to where the Scouts was, like, slightly positive, but not an overwhelming favorite and not an underdog. And so it's, like, not a concept I've heard people really talk about in concepts of, like, tournament lineup, and I think we're in such a different space than we used to be in terms of just playing Magic, and you could kind of target those top decks, that I think it's something to kind of like really consider. And I know, I believe Legna puts out a really nice meta report after each seasonals, and you can kind of see which decks are pushing their ways to the top. But I think it's kind of an interesting concept for now, and I think it does interestingly tie into that kind of Phil Hellmuth aside we were making earlier, as to where I'm curious if this is still the case like 2 or 3 years from now, as Runeterra continues to grow, things get more refined, and if the meta starts to converge a little more, or if it stays as wide open as it does now. But I think this is a kind of interesting concept that I haven't heard people talk about in terms of having a good long tail of matchups, and that being kind of fairly strong here in the lands of Runeterra with its wide open metas. But we'll leave you with that one to discuss amongst yourselves. That is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the battles. I hope your tail is as long as you need. I hope you learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.